Hi, in this tutorial we're going to look at the new changes that were made to OASYS over the summer to reflect the 2014-15 school year. Changes in our APPR plan have required us to make changes in the forms that you'll fill out as teachers. So just a brief rundown of what the changes are. When you have an observation scheduled, you'll notice that you'll receive a couple new forms. The first will be a Domain 1 question form, which are basically a replicate of the questions that we used to ask in person. Now you're going to be asked to fill out the answers to those questions in OASYS and submit them to the administrator prior to you sitting down with the administrator for your pre-observation conference. In addition, there'll be a new form specifically for Component 4A, which is what you would fill out after your observation. It's your reflection of your lesson that you gave that was observed, and again you would submit that prior to your post-observation conference with the administrator so that you can talk about how your lesson went in regards to the reflection that you wrote. A third form will actually be there all year, which is Domain 4, with the exception of 4A, so 4B through F. That is a form that will be available to you at any point throughout the year that you'll be filling in prior to May 1st. The form has to be submitted before May 1st, and then that information gets put onto your final evaluation that will get scored after May 1st. Lastly, a couple things that are no longer there, some things that we've taken off your plate. There is no SLO or achievement form to complete anymore, so you don't need to put any information about your SLO, your population, your targets for either growth or achievement. We'll be handling that in a different manner rather than through OASYS. In addition, you'll notice there's no longer a post-conference form for your unannounced and final evaluation. Those are no longer required, so there's no form needed to meet with the administrator after an unannounced observation or for your end-of-year final evaluation. So let's take a look at what this looks like for you, the teacher. I'm going to click over to My Learning Plan. And you'll notice that when you log into My Learning Plan in the bottom green area in the My Evaluation section, there's nothing there except for Domain 4 questions. So you won't see any other forms, obviously, until an observation has been scheduled with you. However, the Domain 4 questions will be there all year long. So I can work on these at any time. I can click on the form to open it up, and I can answer the questions. Again, you'll notice there is no 4A. That's your reflection on your observation. So it will only be 4B through F. And at any point throughout the year, you can fill in these boxes. You can save your responses throughout the year without submitting it, but prior to May 1st, you'll need to click the Submit button to submit this form to your administrator. Now, once you have an announced observation scheduled, you'll notice in the green area additional forms will appear. The pre-conference form is the exact same form that we've used in past years, which is where you would put your lesson plan. And again, once you accept the date that has been scheduled for it, it will turn into a form that you can complete with your lesson plan. So you'll just simply go in here, enter the information just as we've done in years past, and again you can work on this by just clicking the Save button, but once you're ready for it to be viewed by the administrator who's doing the observation, you'll click the Submit button. In addition to the pre-conference form, there's also a Domain 1 question form, and again if we open that up, these are questions that were previously asked in person at a conference, pre-observation conference. Now you're being asked to answer those questions before the pre-observation conference. So you'll need to go through each question or each component, and there's usually 2 to 3 questions per component, and fill in the text box below with your answers. Those answers get carried over right into your observation form. You'll notice that there is no 1E on this form. That's because 1E is an explanation of your lesson, which you've already done with your lesson plan form, and it will be completed by the administrator either by taking information from your lesson plan or through a discussion in the pre-observation conference. And once again, when you're ready to share this with your administrator, please click the Submit button. So prior to your pre-conference, you should be submitting both your pre-conference form and your Domain 1 question form. Upon completion of your observation, you'll want to go to the 4A question form. And this is an area where you can reflect on the lesson that you gave that was observed. And again, there are some prompting questions here for you to complete. Fill in the box below and submit this. This form should be submitted to your administrator prior to your post-observation conference. So those are the real changes that you're going to see this year. Again, you don't have to worry about the SLO and achievement form. Those forms are no longer part of the process. It's really just in the announced observation that there are additional forms that you would need to complete and submit.